Honorable Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, who is likely to attend this function a little bit later. Honorable Union Minister for Steel, Shri Chaudhary Baijendra Singh Ji, Shri Saraswati Prasad, Special Secretary Steel and CMD SAIL, Mr. Jayant Acharya, Mr. Ansari, and Monica Bachchan, dignitaries, esteemed delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I congratulate Metalogic and Ms. Monica Bachchan. With the support of Steel Ministry, they are able to organize such a wonderful conference where all stakeholders and crucial partners can come together and discuss and find a way forward. Today, I stand before this august gathering with a huge dilemma, which I would like to call it as a great dilemma, like that of the popular Shakespearean dilemma, to be or not to be. Those in the government consider me as a representative of corporate governance, especially the PSU world. At the same time, the public sector and the corporate world consider me as a part of the government. However, in spite of this irony, I have been extremely happy to be the two-in-one, being both with the government and as well as with the corporate world. Today, I represent the largest iron ore mining Navaratna company in public sector undertaking, which is celebrating its Diamond Jubilee year. We have already had enough discussion about the buzzwords steel and trade and the current scenario in the world. It's the right time the conference has come. The trade war and steel is also the epicenter of protectionism and trade frictions. Presence of the Honorable Minister for Steel and will add greater significance to the importance of the issue and helping in understanding and responding to the issue with an Indian perspective in a better way. All of us are aware that India remains a bright spot in the global steel industry, clocking more than 5% of consumption growth. This has been possible due to rise in demand as well as several policy initiatives of Steel Ministry and Government of India, which has already been mentioned by some of the delegates, and the efforts taken by the Steel Ministry under the able leadership of Shri Chaudhary Baijendra Singh, our Honorable Minister, and the team along with that in the recent years have actually helped us in reviving steel industry and looking forward to have a better future. The various policy initiatives during recent time include anti-dumping duties, quality standards, domestic local content, initiation of resolution process of stressed steel assets, and host of other reforms. All these policy initiatives, combined with entrepreneurial energy of our steel industry, have enabled our country to cross 100 million tons mark of steel production for the first time. And we are likely to become the third largest producer of steel in the world in the current year. As most of us have experienced during the past 3-4 years, the global steel industry was saddled with excess capacity, primarily coming from China, which has affected the steel prices and consequently steel industry margins also. However, as a result of closure and steel production cuts in China, other measures in the year 2017 has been very good for global and domestic steel industry. The short-range outlook of WSA forecast 1.8 growth in the global steel consumption in 2018, led by India, that is 5.5%, USA 2.7%, EU 2.5%, Turkey 5%, Russia 2.1%, and South Korea 1%. Global iron ore production was 2.4 billion tons in 2017. India is the fourth largest producer of iron ore after Australia, that is 880 million tons, Brazil 440 million tons, China with 62% of Fe equivalent to production of 340 million tons. The total global trade of 1.6 billion tons of iron ore, 67% of 2.4 billion tons global production, makes iron ore the third largest trading commodity after crude oil and coal. This demonstrates the significance of iron ore on various sectors and economies around the world. The increase in global supplies will certainly put the downward pressure of prices. Iron ore production has been around 200 million tons last year in India, out of which around 50 to 55, 60 million tons is from the captive miners, especially SAIL and Tata Steel. Odisha is also producing about 50% of the country's production, which is slated to increase up to 2020 due to various lease-related issues. Indian iron ore exports was 100 million ton in 2010-11, which came down to 4.5 million ton in FY15 and is around 24 to 25 million ton in the last 2 years. With the disruption of production of iron from Goa, exports from India are expected to come down significantly during the current year. Iron ore markets are witnessing a shift in premiums of iron ore due to anti-pollution and other measures of China, resulting in a very high premium for higher iron ore grades, and low iron ore grades of Australia is sold in throwaway prices due to poor marketability in China. This is also making some of the Indian steel makers to procure low quality iron ore from there and bringing the domestic high grade iron ore sale under pressure in certain states. I also like to flag the issues of captive and non-captive iron ore production mining in India. Although the captive mining is an important for sustainability of steel industry, the non-captive mining is also important for the development of mining industry. How will mining industry will go if auction deposits are only given for captive miners, captive production? Apprehension of unscientific, selective, unsustainable mining practices for organizations for which mining is not the core activity also need to be taken into account, which will be detrimental in the longer environmental concerns. Having these issues in mind, I take opportunity to suggest that commercial mining or merchant mining should also be incentivized, which will bring large-scale benefit to the national economy, just that the steel industry will definitely contribute. So I would like to have captive mining, merchant mining, and growth of steel industry all could grow, and we have a very robust steel policy which will envisage space for all of us, because we need to achieve the 300 million ton target in 2030. One more important thing from a miner's perspective, in the larger interest of the steel sector, is that mineral exploration. Mineral exploration is in India has to be improved because our geological strata is generally said to be matching with Africa and Australia, and thus likely to have similar mineral potentials. Various administrative, technological, and social issues have resulted in low investment in exploration when compared to other countries. For example, Indian budget 2015 for exploration stood at US dollar 17 per square kilometer against US dollar 51 in Brazil and US dollar 467 in China, which is proportionate to the size and the mineral potential. So we need to focus on that also. One more issue which has considerably improved after the new government has come in is the rate in which the statutory clearances are being given for miners. Stricter and stringent environmental norms do not and should not mean a long winding and complicated route which delays considerably to get an yes or no. We need to have very stringent rules, very strict rules, but at the same time, not a complicated, longer route to get an answer. This issue is well known and highlighted in India, and that is why the Ministry of Steel has taken it up with other ministries concerned. And in the last 4 years, I could see a major change in the clearances, the rate in which the clearances are being done. If you have seen, even after auctioning, there is much delay in opening up the mine due to the statutory clearances and RR issues. And sometimes abdication or aberrations of internal regulations by miners have led to more and more judicial interventions in mining sector, which have to be deliberated upon, and internal solutions will have to be arrived at so that the business is run business-like by the business people. This is an issue which has got policies and other things involved. So industry people alone or miners alone can solve this problem. They can't. With the support of the government, the support of other fraternity within the sector, we will have to find a solution to run the business, and business will have to be run business-like, as I mentioned. Aberration should not become the norms. About NMDC, everybody is aware that we are the largest iron ore mining company in public sector, with our iron ore production as 35.5 million ton in last financial year, which is the highest ever production since inception of the company. Our share is around 25% domestically, and especially in the merchant mining sector. We are also operate on mechanized diamond ore mining also in Panna. NMDC has recently taken up value additions. We have now got a 3 million ton steel plant at Nagarnar, Bastar, a place from where for the last 60 years we have been making our profits. And the NMDC has decided in turn now it is our turn to give it back to the people of Bastar, the tribals of Bastar, by giving infrastructure, employment, and other business opportunities. The 3 million ton Nagarnar steel plant is very likely to be commissioned by end of this year. We are also into value addition and other related issues. A slurry pipeline is being constructed. Beneficiation plants are also being planned. Pellet plants are also being, one is installed in Karnataka, another one is in the process of installation. So all these issues of value addition by NMDC has also a different side, that we are diverting from our core sector of mining towards steel making. This diversion is required at this particular point of time because of our policies where merchant mining is becoming less and less important, unlike other big miners in the world. So this issue will have to be seen, the role of merchant mining in steel industry. I like to conclude by saying that NMDC from its own side wants to come forward and take up operations of more and more mines in Odisha, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh. I appeal to the policymakers present here and to the business industry representatives here to utilize NMDC for a greater good of the industry and thereby for the benefit of the nation. We seek help from the Government of India to strengthen NMDC in a way that it truly becomes the backbone of the Indian steel industry. Our vision is to grow to 100 million tons per annum capacity in the next 10 to 15 years. We seek the cooperation of all policymakers and business representatives to make use of the provisions and help us achieve the vision in reaching 100 million tons per annum capacity. From NMDC side, we are taking all efforts to play our role in development of Indian mining sector. We are ready to work with joint ventures, with the state representatives, state government enterprises, and also with the private sector enterprises, so that we can together work for a robust steel industry in future. We have already had MOUs with many PSUs for exploration, acquisition, and development of various mines in India and abroad. I hope these deliberations and discussions during this conference will generate many positive ideas on steel trade and commerce, which would serve as input on policy making. I thank the organizers for making our company NMDC as a partner in such an important event. Thank you very much.